really appreciate you coming and joining us. So our focus is on cultivating this entrepreneurship mindset. People have been speaking and saying, no. This entrepreneurship thing, it's not about skill, it's a mindset. And you're sitting there and saying, but what is this mindset? So my first question will start on my right-hand side. What is an entrepreneurship mindset?
So thank you very much for having me. I think with the entrepreneurial mindset, it's really about, it's come out, can you hear me okay? Yeah. So it's really come out in the stories that DJ Spoo has been sharing. And it's about the hustle, it's about that ability to in ambiguous circumstances where things are not certain, it's that you're able to see something that other people can't see, that you're able to be resilient, you're able to innovate, you're able to create teams and visions around what you're doing. So that is not very easy when you haven't had the exposure and the circumstances to support that, when you don't have the opportunity. And so what the foundation does is try to identify that potential, that entrepreneurial mindset in young people as early as 12, 13 years old, and then nurture that for a long time, through to the point that they're able to then use that mindset in a way to actually create a business and employ others.
Thank you. So I think the most important thing, the most important element around what entrepreneurial mindset is actually doing, and getting down to actually taking up whatever problem that you're trying to solve for yourself and others and doing it. And there is a lot of academic debate around what that means, and as an academy we also have sort of like key traits, defining traits of what an entrepreneur is, but at the end of the day it's about taking the initiative and actually starting, notwithstanding the risk, and starting to actually pursue a solution for the problem that you've seen.
Hello. For me, it's really simple. It's identifying a problem. All one in Njenge. Alex. And Alex has a lot of problems, right? Tembisa, whatever. It has a lot of problems. And for me, the system, as Usbu has said, is not working for me. And I chose to be an entrepreneur because I felt we need to start doing things for ourselves. And identifying a problem, economic inclusion as an example, it's a big problem. And we talk about enterprise and supply development. That thing is a lie. It does not work. And how do we start then creating enterprises that are able to solve our problems? Whether the problem is moving him or fire, or the problem is creating jobs, how do you identify a problem and find a solution? That for me is entrepreneurship, nothing else.
My sister, you should have been here on Tuesday. Because they were speaking about ESP. It was going to be hot. You hear what? That thing doesn't work. And the people are saying, look, ESP does work. We need to have that. We can't just all be agreeing to everything. These are the types of conversations that we need to be having. She's an entrepreneur, she's saying it doesn't work. And then you have people who are coming from ESD saying it is working. So these are the types of dialogues that we need to. Thank you for raising that up. You are very brave.
I've been speaking all the time. It's a shame. I guess for me it's doing. I mean, I totally agree with you. You are all correct. It's problem solving. There's just entrepreneurs left, right, and center. Mamas that are selling vegetables in the corners, young boys that are parking cars. They call them car guards. Those are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs is just when you don't have any other means to make money, and you providing a skill or a service or product in return for money. And you're placing that skill, service, or product a certain value, and you know that it remains at that value based on the conversations you'll make with the potential client, and then getting money in return. For me, that's entrepreneurship.
Beautiful. For me, entrepreneurship is neither a job nor a description. It's an attitude to life. It basically says you get up off your butt. It doesn't matter what cards life dealt you with, and you make something out of it. And there's a beautiful saying that says entrepreneurs are neither born nor are they made. They're panel beaten.
Okay, after 5 people sound like a broken record. So I think what everybody said is true, but my take is the mindset is evolving over time. As the world changes, there's certain characteristics that you need to build to be an entrepreneur going forward. I think agility is one. You need to be very agile as a person. You need to accept that your business will fail at some point, so it's better to fail early, fail fast, and learn from that. And I think the guys that are going to be making it is guys that really disrupt the status quo. I mean, if you go on social media now, Discover is talking about launching a bank. Everybody's worried about this bank, and it's just a disruptive mindset. I think those guys are entrepreneurs how they do things. When they came in with medical aid, they disrupted the whole system. So people that are going to make it going forward are people that really disrupt the status quo in whatever area they operate in.
Fantastic. Right, so my next question is really around habits, practical habits. Certain things that entrepreneurs do that have gotten them to where they are. You know, because we look at, many times when you go on social media and you see the success, not many are really talking about what's happening behind the scene. Certain books that they're reading, certain opportunities, certain platforms that they're going to, practical stuff. So I'm going to start on my right-hand side to say, please share with us 2 practical habits which you have seen entrepreneurs think about, do, and it's worked for them, and now they're running successful businesses. Either entrepreneurs that you know, entrepreneurs that you've read about, or even you yourself.
Yeah, I think I made lots of mistakes when I was running a business, and I didn't have forums and sessions like this in which to learn from. So I think some of the entrepreneurs that I've seen that have been successful, or right now, are curious. They join different types of forums, and I don't mean in an academic sense, but they learn from others. They're open, they have a growth mindset, they have a future positive mindset, so they're going out and trying to absorb as much as they can. And then the other thing is that, and it's probably linked, is that question about asking yourself how. When you look at something and you look at a problem, if you ask your mind if, then it will give you a binary answer. It will say yes or no. If you ask how, it will try to solve the problem for you. So it's important in terms of how you think, that you're continuously coming at something with that question how. And I've seen young people create great businesses, great ideas, by continuously having that curiosity, the need for learning, and asking how.
I think for me it's one thing, and it's curious that you mentioned what habits should you practice, and it's actually practicing the habit of practice, right? You're practicing how to practice by practicing a lot, right? So
Hey, my man, that's English. Yeah. Practicing.
So, and that's at the core really of the entrepreneurial leadership experience at the academy, and also having gone through the Ellen Gray Orbis Fellowship myself, that is the same mindset. So you take up a problem, whether you want to iterate on it 1,000 times, but it's practicing how to practice and solving that and doing it again and again and again. Because once you sort of get into the real world, or your 3rd or your 4th venture after the first 2 or whatever have failed, if you have not built that consistency of being able to do and do and do, you won't make it.
Okay, on my side, the first one is be married to the mission or the vision, not your products. Yeah. Because products change and they're dependent on what the customer wants to buy. So be married to the vision and the mission that you're trying to. Why do you exist? Be clear on that and be married to that and focus on that. The second one, invest in yourself. Be sure that you're spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally fit for the road ahead. Ziyabuya. As Lusapho has mentioned, it's not glamorous. It's hard work every day. Yeah. So invest in yourself, whether you read books, the Bible, whatever it is. Just invest in yourself. Third one, know your numbers. Know your numbers. Bala, price, whatever, those things, know your numbers. And the last one, I think it's sell. Flip and go out of the building and sell. That's it.
Power.
Amazing. I totally agree with all of them. What he was saying, Ella, is failing forward quickly. I failed forward when we ran a record label. I was 21 when I started Actually, my first business was selling stolen cell phones on campus. I wouldn't advise anyone.
Yeah, you didn't say that when you were doing your speech, and I was going to mention it.
I wouldn't steal them, so I'd go buy them in the township for cheaper and go sell them on campus. Found out later they were stealing them. Sure, it wasn't my problem. Sorry, I wouldn't advise anyone to, but I did that. That was years ago. But my real first business was a record label. Some of you guys do know TS Records. Yeah. You guys know Zahara, Ntantla Mafikizolo, Njenge, Brown Dash, Ntando Pro, May Soul Recipes, and a whole lot of other artists. We ran a record label, we're very successful. But today, the only thing we have to show for that business is the catalog. Catalog means we own our entire masters, everything we've ever recorded, which was a great decision. Because my uncle died and unfortunately made headlines for dying poor. Simon Kabinde, May Soul Rest in Peace. He had a band called Mahlatini and the Mahotela Queens. His stage name was Mahlatini. And my parents were always adamant every time when I got into entrepreneurship, like, or music in the entertainment industry, like, please, educate yourself, don't die poor, don't make that mistake, blah, 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 etc. Luckily, I started and I owned a business from the age of 21, ran that business all the way until the age of 33 for 12 years. Successful business, built a lot of brands. Some, Zahara, they're still superstars doing their thing. We did well, but the mistakes that we made, she's talking about numbers. Numbers means that even when you're making that money, you reach that so-called success as an entrepreneur. What are you investing that money on? Robert Kiyosaki speaks very well on that topic about how do you use that money to work for you so that it multiplies itself. That's why certain people are wealthy, because they are able to, when they succeeded as entrepreneurs, they made that money work for them. So I did not understand that. Instead, I spent the money on liabilities. So the money kept on going out. Sports cars, nice expensive clothes, the money was just going out and out and out. That was the mistake. So I reiterate her point. Know your numbers. When they do get that money after all that success or after all that hard work, that money must be invested onto other things that make the money come back. And once you do that, you become credit worthy, you are healthy, the bank starts offering you or loaning you more money that you can take and use to do the same and invest on more assets that are going to bring the money back in. That's how you become wealthy.
Two things that make an entrepreneur. For me, the first one is if you've got a business idea, you're not an entrepreneur yet. You're an entrepreneur the day you do something to make that idea a reality. So traction is everything that counts in entrepreneurship. The second thing is you make it incredibly easy for people to understand what you solve. If I asked you to look at your Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or your email signature, usually it says something like, I'm a CEO of an e-commerce startup, fintech, something, whatever else. What the hell does that mean? What business problem are you solving? If you make it easy for people to understand what you solve, it makes it easy for people to call you when they need to buy your services or products. So please take your phones and change your email signature, change your profile so that everybody understands when to call you.
Can I change now?
You've got too many businesses.
Thanks. I'll also just point two things at what makes an entrepreneur. I think one is just a general life thing. You need to know what you don't know. So I think most entrepreneurs, you want to be the marketing manager, the strategist, the guy who sells, the finance guy, the mentor to employees. You need to know what you don't know. And there are things you don't know, you get someone else who knows that to work with. That's why I think mentorship works. If there's certain areas you're not good in, bring someone in who can assist you in that. And I think DJs who did speak about selling, but really the unorthodox in how you sell. My master class in selling is a story about Jabu Stone. Like in the 90s, this is how Jabu Stone would introduce his product for dreadlocks. So he would get about 10 guys with dreadlocks. He takes them into Sunnyside where there's lots of salons. He says, go into all of these salons, tell them to do your dreadlocks, but ask for a Jabu Stone product. So they go into salon 1, I want to do my dreadlocks, I want a Jabu Stone product. The guy says, who's Jabu Stone? They say, no, Jabu Stone, okay, I'm moving to the next salon. If 5 guys go into a salon and they ask for that product, trust me, tomorrow you're going to buy that product. So he took these 10 guys, go through Sunnyside in a week, every salon, go do your dreadlocks, ask for the Jabu Stone product. When he's done there, he moves to Hillbrook, he does exactly, this was in the 90s, he did the whole of South Africa that way. Within 6 months, everybody knew about his product. That's how you should think of marketing your product, think outside the box in terms of how you market your products as an entrepreneur.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, gentlemen and ladies. Are we learning something? See, by show of hands, how many of us are learning? Because many of these events, from my view, what I've seen is people come here and they're like, it's just another one. They're just going to tell us our stories about how sad entrepreneurship is. Then we're going to leave. But I want us to take away practical information. You know, there's a certain link, a certain platform that could open up your business to a whole new level, which they know. People speak about access to market, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to open up questions. We're going to open up the floor, questions. And I need to make a disclaimer. Entrepreneurs, I know you are disruptors. And you are very innovative. But this is not an opportunity for you to give a 2-minute pitch on your business and what it does. Please disrespect time, who you are, what you do, what your question is, and who it's directed at. I think you've got a view of who specializes in what and who's good at what. So we're going to take a question, yeah? We're going to take only 3. I've seen 1, I've seen 2, I've seen 3. Thank you. All right. Yes, my brother.
Thanks very much. My name is Bushax. It's completely coincidental, but I was with you on Sunday at the Sunday Circle. It's the events that he holds about hustling. I want to ask, how are you extending the Hustlers Academy nationally? Thank you.
For me, it's, you know, remember when I spoke about starting? You know, I used to talk about this, I wrote about it in my first book, that the vision to start Leadership 2020 is by the year 2020, we need to have an entrepreneurship institution. And luckily we launched it by the 9th of April this year. And we're like, and I used to say that I don't know by whose money we're going to launch it, but we're going to launch it. By 2020 we need to have this institution, we need to have impacted 1 million lives. And we launched it on the 9th of April, it's based in Houghton with 100 students. And what's nice about starting means that as you go, there's other people that are going to start seeing what you're doing. And once they see that it comes from the heart and it's a good deed and it comes from a good place, people will start wanting to come and support it. So we are starting to have companies that are saying, hey, we can help with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hey, we can help with these premises. You guys open this up in Pretoria. So we are in that process of scaling up. We've just opened up in Lenasia. We just opened up in Orange Farm. We're going to be opening up our 4th one in Tembisa. The other ones are satellite ones. They're small, about 20, 30 students. And that's basically how we're scaling up. We're not waiting for the government to say, let's partner with you, let's make this big. Or waiting for a funder to say, let's fund you, let's make it big. We're smart by creating a school where our young students that are learning entrepreneurship, in the process of learning, they're selling. And whatever they're selling, they're making a cut of it. So they're making money, the school is making money, and our partners that we work with, our financial services partners, they're also making money because we're selling their policies. So they're reaching their objectives, we're reaching our objectives, our students are making money while they're learning, and while we're running this thing on a daily basis. And as time goes, we believe God will provide, and it'll be national at some point. It's hardly been 7 months, you know?
Thanks very much. My name is Brian Mazibugo. I'm in the film Italy production, but I've realized that I must not only focus on long-term business, mid-term. So I've gotten into the space of owning a shop. So my question is directed to Presbu. I want to know if I'm interested to have your product in Mofire, how could I get it for my shop? Thanks. I'm based in Soweto.
Okay, when I told Devil and Cash and Carry. But the startup stock, we can hook you up. We'll speak to that young man, hook you up with some cases. But then moving forward, because you're in Soweto, the nearest place wholesaler to you is Devlin Cash and Carry, where you'll get one case for an equivalent of 125 rand. 125 rand for 24, that's an equivalent of 5 rand 10 cent per unit. And you'll sell it at 10 rand or 15 rand. It's just totally up to you because you understand your market and your sponsor shop market. But it's definitely available. Sure.
Mine is not more of a question, but a compliment. Good hero, Mr. T. I ran the sales for Morfire when it started, and what Boo was talking about in terms of doors being shut. I remember a very painful incident where I had organized a meeting for BP, and it was going to be very early with all the BP owners around Gauteng at the offices in Parktown. and I phone Sibu's book, come very early in the morning, we're meeting with BP, blah, I've got everything, I had more fire on ice in a cooler bag, I was going to get these guys to taste. And when we got there, it took one person who decided, no, we're not going to have these young black people coming here and wanting to sell more fire through BP. As Boo was on the way, I had to make that phone call to him to say, listen, this is not going to happen. You know, and this had taken months just to get that meeting where these guys are meeting. So, but what I learned from Zbu was the perseverance. You know, the vision stayed the same with him. The vision never changed. And that's what you have to focus on. The challenges we faced were massive. There's too many stories to tell. But I just want, what I know from Zbu, and I worked with him on a daily basis, was his passion and his vision doesn't change. It's about empowering. What he said about creating entrepreneurs and not creating jobs, it's 100% true. You know, he's creating opportunities for people to make their money. You know, you don't need to apply to go sell more fire. You go to Devland, you hook up 125 rand and you start working and you double that money within a day. You know, that's the sort of landscape that we are in. No one's going to create jobs. Unemployment is sitting at 27.5 right now. Youth unemployment at over 50%. You know, who's going to create those jobs? You know, let's create opportunities for young people for them to be able to empower themselves.
Good morning, my name is Batabila Moreki. I just like to bring to the panel to think about the model of, we see a lot of people always saying, especially the youth, we're not accessing funding, we're not accessing market. And for me, I've been running franchises for the past 5 years. I started in Olivenhoek Bosch. And I never had problems with access to funding, neither access to market, because as I opened my first store, people knew the brand. So they bought they bought the product. So now I see a lot of black products coming, like now More Fire. It's a franchise model because you sell the same branded product everywhere. You're not changing anything. So now, if we could package this More Fire so that when you go to SIFA to say, what is the market reaction to this More Fire? A lot of youth could be funded because the funding of the franchises is just sitting in different banks, in different government institutions because of that franchise agreement model to say who will be overseeing how the processes are implemented. So if we can look into that to say, let's package it so that we put cost to say this is a startup, startup stock, let's say for 4,000. With the 4,000, this is how much you want to make. This is the distribution channel, this is the uniform, this is the painting, this is the monitoring system, so that we can have a lot of youth, not only in Gauteng, but even if you're in the Free State, you should know where to apply formally so that you don't only start at 100 rand. Guys, Mandela, went to 27 for us in prison. So now, we cannot be starting from 100 rand starting a business. Sbu has hustled. I cannot now start hustling like Sbu. Let's not repeat where other people started. There are opportunities in the franchise model. And I'm not saying let's all buy a KFC and Nando's. With our own South African brands, let's just package them so that they are franchisable. And franchise, guys, is not, and as I said, KFC. It's just to say reputation of the model and how the model goes. Thank you.
But time. Only just time. To our panelists, thank you so much for availing yourself, for sharing your insight, sharing your knowledge, sharing your experiences. As you can see, a lot of people have come here, they've learned, they've been writing notes. There's a lot to take away. Gentlemen, ladies, thank you once again. The time now is... All right. Okay, they said I can take 2 more questions. There's a gentleman there, and there's a lady. And with the questions, do you see how nicely they were flowing? Then just maybe at the end, but we're gonna bring it back. So they've got a question at the back, and then Mama, the question at the back. We're gonna take the 2 questions, have the last words from our panelists, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And please don't forget, if you've got some questions as well, tweet them, hashtag. We'll get the questions to our panelists, and then we'll get the answers for you. My man, take it away.
Yes, thank you. And my question is to the two panelists on the right-hand side, who are coming from an institutional environment. And I want to ask, how is there alignment being created so that we can sort of get a model for how to teach entrepreneurship, and how is that being coordinated, not just in the major centers, but around the country, because we need to have something that is going to be a reference for especially the younger kids and even people who are grown up like ourselves, but we need to have something of reference when we talk about entrepreneurship.
Okay, so that's a constant question for us at the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation. It's about entrepreneurship education. We're choosing young people based on assessing entrepreneurial talent and potential. So we're really trying to create different ways in which to harness that. Our sort of key area that we work on is the mindset, because you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you are not going to be able to make a success of it. And the mindset is all those common factors that we've been talking about, those aspects that lead to resilience, etc. So it's a constant trial and error. I think there isn't one particular model one can say is definitely achieving all of that. But we've got to look at, from the time that we start with very young kids, is how do you get them excited about this notion, explore possibility, explore with curiosity, and as they get older is to make it a little more realistic in terms of actually starting a business. What does one have to think about, and how do you practically do it? So we don't want theoretical sort of models and frameworks. You want things that people can actually practically use. So you start getting more focused as our candidate fellows and in our fellowship program, where they're now Alan Gray fellows, they're thinking about a business, etc. How do we give them support that and education that's a lot more focused in on actually running a business? And then you start getting to business fundamentals, things like financial management, marketing, knowing your customer, etc. But at the core of it is really looking at the mindset that helps somebody see beyond what others see, having the resilience, the innovation, as I said, all those aspects that make entrepreneurs different. And Sihle is actually an Alan Gray Fellow, so probably better place to tell you.
Thank you. So from African Leadership Academy's perspective, there's a few programs that we run, but at the core of it is really, all it's about is about entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurial mindset. So at the Academy, there's a 2-year program in which, as I said, the students get an opportunity to practice entrepreneurship in a very practical way. So they run actual enterprises, they pay rent, they pay tax, they have to be accountable to a board and so on. And over the past 10 years of the Academy's existence, we've had about 1,000 graduates, and about 30% of those across the continent are running full-time businesses and employing a lot of people. As sort of predicted, that almost like a third will go into sort of a government public sector, a third will go into corporate jobs, and a third into entrepreneurship. And the program that I sit on specifically is the Anzisha Prize, which works with young entrepreneurs between the ages of 15 and 22 when they started from across the continent who've already started. So it's not about whether you have a particular mark in a particular subject. You've already started and you've demonstrated excellence in running your venture, often in very, very difficult situations. And then the intervention there is not about how do we teach you to become an entrepreneur, but it's to support you and help you scale that business.
I'm sorry, can I just say one more thing? I think with entrepreneurship education, because we're working with younger kids sometimes who haven't yet gotten that sense of a business or even necessarily wanting to run a business, but they have those building blocks towards entrepreneurship, is to give them the ability to fail in a safe environment, to take risks and fail in a safe environment, and to create opportunities in which they can talk about their ideas. Where, in Jamboree, for example, we've got it's called Jamboree. It's a flagship event where candidate fellows of ours come together and they do pitching of different ideas. there they're able to kind of get feedback on their idea in a safe environment from people who really want to see them succeed. And that's all the other candidate fellows in the program. But then they're able to access support from the foundation beyond that to take it further. So it's giving them that safe environment in which to do that.
Hi, I'm Chino. I'm an IT specialist and I've been doing that for the past 13 years. I have a solution that I've created that I would like to hear more about what you have to say about innovators, especially if you're trying to disrupt an industry like government and make people accountable. I mean, I've been following up on people's money for all my life, so I'm sure I can follow up on money in government. So I've created a system. How do you get in with such a product? I understand school started with Mrs. Metro, it was a new thing and he did it on his own. You did touch on my, on doing, not just having a model, having something that is there. How do you come up as a young entrepreneur who's never had any other business and not have a model of finance, but have a solution to a problem that you see in the country?
Geez, you guys are throwing the deep end here. Look, I think, well, the best thing is you need to, in as much as you say government might be a customer or consumer of your solution, you need to understand other stakeholders that play in that space, especially like if you're taking a tech solution to the public sector, where there's a reputation that is not as agile as acceptance of technology. So you need to try and understand who the key stakeholders are and what value are you selling to those guys. So a lot of tech ideas that people pitch to government make a lot of sense, but if you don't really understand the entire spectrum of the stakeholders, I'll give you an example. There's guys that went to government and said, we want to set up a biometric system at all schools where when teachers come in, they can clock that are coming at this time. So by 9 o'clock, the central education office knows that there's an absence of a maths teacher in their school. Let's deploy someone to go across and teach those kids maths. It makes sense. The labor union comes in and says, you try to police our members, so they shut that thing down. So it's trying to understand the stakeholder ecosystem around that product and try and have a value proposition for each of those stakeholder groups, because it just takes one stakeholder group to disrupt or to kill your idea, but you need to understand who the players in that space are and try and sell value to all of those people in that space. That would be my advice in terms of how to take that. And probably start it small, pilot in one area if it works, and try and scale it up over time. Don't try and pitch it as a nationwide thing, but identify, for whatever way, a progressive government department that you could pitch to, pilot there, and then from the lessons you improve your model and sell it to others.
May I just add one more suggestion? There is incredible power in collaboration. Are you based in Gauteng? Okay. So there's unbelievable tools out there. If you, as you did now, you raised what you're currently working on, what you're trying to solve, maybe in the audience there's somebody afterwards will come to you and say, but I already have a contract, a relationship, and actually looking for an innovative way to do and solve in this. So if you are a business, an entrepreneur, an innovator, share what you're working on. Share what you're looking for. In Gauteng, for example, the province launched a portal to help everybody connect with each other. It's called kaziunlimited.co.za. That's a free portal. Use Twitter, use Facebook, use whatever you want. Put up your hand to the world and say, guys, this is what I'm working on. Anybody interested in talking to me? Share. If somebody can steal your idea, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to quit their job if I have one. To steal your idea and run with it.
I just wanted to maybe just, it's something that I've seen obviously working from corporates, is that a lot of entrepreneurs, particularly black entrepreneurs, we start a business because we want to service corporate and government. And all our time we focus on knocking on those corporate doors. Friends, 1% of us are probably going to get into the supply chain of a corporate, right? We need to start creating alternative value chains for us. How do I start a business and build a traction that demonstrates, that creates an interest for the government person? BP as an example, he made an example to say, a BP person said, it's not going to happen. One, Mofire wasn't known. If you're not known, how do you get yourself out there to be known and then create interest on your business? And how do we start working with each other? How do we start creating a supply chain, a value chain amongst ourselves and building that community so that when they start looking at us, we're already there. And the negotiation even gets better when you've already built traction and you know your numbers, you know your model, you know how you make money. The conversation becomes different when you engage with your corporate or your government stakeholders.
Thank you. We've got the last question. Oh, we're wrapping up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but you know what? Because I can see, like I'm just looking at your face, just that disappointment. So this question. So what's going to happen is the panel is going to go into the media room, right? And then please come with afterwards, and we'll make a plan for you. Thank you.